Hi everybody, it's 3 minutes to go and we are looking forward to our upcoming talk with Dan Perjovschi. We are already trying to get Dan in.
Wenn du ihn hast, wir lassen ihn nicht mehr raus, ne?
And nobody's online so far. Hi, wir sind schon dabei, Dan Perjovschi hier auf unseren Channel zu holen. Wir hoffen, dass es klappt mit der Technik. Hallo Tristan. Und schauen gleich mal. Unsere Connection ist gut, oder? Man hört uns gut und man sieht uns gut. Perfekt. Wir hoffen jetzt, dass das mit Dan klappt. Instagram Live ist ja immer so eine Sache. Wenn man Instagram viel benutzt, sieht man sich gut aus, und wenn man da neu ist, dann ist dieses Zuschalten bei den Live-Talks manchmal ein Schritt, den man erst lernen muss. Und now we can try. Dan is following us, and Dan is trying to get online with us. We hope it's working now. Hi.
Hey.
Perfect. So,
Okay.
Hi, Dan. So fantastic.
Hey.
Worked out. We have officially to go until our talk starts, but you are in the Instagram live with us now, so we don't let you go. So
Yeah, keep me here. It's too complicated for me.
Perfect. You did.
Yeah. Too many choices, too many buttons, right?
Absolutely, but we are very happy that you are that you made it, and that we can speak in a minute. I hope you're feeling well.
I'm okay.
How's the
Yeah.
Sibiu? You're in Sibiu, right? How do you say?
Yeah. I'm at home in Sibiu. Yeah. I'm here since about a month now, because we have been in the lockdown. You are just about to enter.
Yeah, we say officially in the whole of Germany.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Yeah. We have been before you, and this is the second lockdown for me, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But how are you? How are you doing? Are you fine? How are you able to work? Yeah, I think we are already in the interview already, which is fantastic. And this was actually one of my first questions to ask you, how you are and where you are right now, and how you have been the last year, which was an challenging year, I think, for all of us.
Well, it was a kind of in and out, stop and start year, right? It was something you could not basically plan, so you had to adjust every time. And I was more at my hometown in Sibiu, which is, you know, it's like an old medieval town, more walkable or bikeable. Then Bucharest is too crazy and too stuff. So I tried to avoid staying in a big city when it was this crazy. But also my hometown was hit. So we have been locked down twice. Yeah. And now Monday we just exited the second one, and it shows. It made an impact. We have been very big on the scale of infection, and now we are down. Yeah. But this is a price to take. I mean, here I have a studio at home, you know, that's my studio, that's my home. So I have okay place. So me and my wife, both artists, we stayed at home and we work. We've been like privileged, yeah. Right? But it was not, I mean, I was just not in an offensive, not in a like an artist. I was just responding to situation. Yeah? I was, there was some crazy stuff. I could not go to Bogota. I could not go to New York. Yeah. I had these solo shows planned for years, yeah. So I had to delegate my drawings. Yeah. I had to ask somebody else to draw for me.
Also, never done it before.
No. Oh. No, and I don't like other people's drawings.
Or not.
So, but it was okay. I mean, we found solutions. Yeah. And well, and I had to. I mean, I was out of my comfort zone. I am usually. I like to control everything. Yeah. So I draw. I install myself. I decide here and there, whatever. And now I had to put. I mean, to let other people decide for me. And it was not so easy, but it came up well, you know.
Perfect. Good. You're very optimistic and very positive. I think this is very important and good, and maybe it's also a good continuation to let me ask you. You are from Romania and you were born in the 60s, and you are an artist and a cartoonist, but you are also a person who has been part of a generation where a lot of changes has come for Europe and also for your country and for your area. So how, or what does mean Europe for you today, but how did the changes over the last decades affect you, change your opinion on Europe? This is, I think, something very...
Yeah. Well, since I have this about 30 years of career now, I got hit by many viruses. So I had to adapt to a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And when you ask me about Europe now, you know, this idea that from my hometown in the middle, you know, Romania, I can have a flight to Munich. Like I just go and take a flight to Munich. This is 30 years ago. This was a totally impossible stuff. And people who did not experience closure of the borders cannot understand this. So for me, Europe meant this freedom of travel first, right? Yeah. And it's still, for me, still a wonder. Yeah. Because I was kept 30 years in my country. I could not exit nothing. I couldn't, you know. By the way, I did mail art at the time, and I'm doing it now because I cannot go. So this was the way to travel in communist time, by mail art, and now I'm doing the same because of the COVID. Yeah. Anyways, coming back with Europe, you know, we dream to be part of this, right? My country. And even now we are on the, let's say, well, one of the poorest in terms of economics country, but we developed a lot because of European Union. And mainly what I found it very important right now is the state of law. So the state of law in my country, with the exception, you see, we are not Poland and Hungary yet. So we maintain this rule of law because of the pressure of European Union. Now, when you say Europe, it's not only European Union, right? For me as an artist, in my own country, I had a lot of difficulties. Even now, I'm boycotting local institutions. They boycott me, whatever. We don't love. There's not much love here. But I found, and I was treated with respect in every country I went. And for me, like an artist from Romania, this was a major boost in confidence, you know. So I could become an established artist in my country via Berlin or via Paris or via New York. So I'm sorry to say that because there are a lot of interesting people around me here and institutions and little things and whatever. But like the official, we never get along. So Europe was my partner, you know. And so I'm you know, in my drawings, maybe you saw, I'm mainly critical, right? But I also have I still consider Europe and this plan, this idea to have these countries together as a very avant-garde plan, you know. You cannot put 5 politicians at the table so they cannot come out with one single idea, and you put 27 states. I mean, it's quite amazing, I may say. So I mean, you know, I'm criticizing Europe, but with tenderness when it's about immigration law, you know, about all these issues, which is not affecting only us, but the planet in itself. And of course, all this, you know, all the subjects today, with the whitewashing, with the mansplaining, with all this, with, you know, with all this kind of anti-colonialist thinking, you know. I was in a country who was colonized by the Soviet Union, right? So we pulled the Lenin statue down 30 years ago. And now the young people want to put them back. That's how life is, right? So yeah, I mean, as an artist and as a citizen, I found partnership in Europe and in European institutions. And I know for the first time in my life, I know some people which are representing my country in the parliament in Europe, which is kind of interesting, you know. Younger than me. This is cool. So, and some of these guys I really like. So
now your connection is... Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I know. Go back. Perfect. And this is really, I think this is very important to hear for the show. Maybe I didn't really introduce both of us because we started a little bit, some minutes before before 6, because we got you in line. My name is Johanna, and I'm together with Schwanz. We are office and part, and we are co-curators of a big show which is coming up next year, going from Berlin to Moscow and then to Paris, Diversity United, and it's organized by the Stiftung Kunst und Kultur, and this is why we have this live talk series with different artists, and it's really nice to have Dan Perjovschi here. Dan is a Romanian artist born in the 60s, and the last 3 artists that we had with us were 20 years younger in the generation, so it's really interesting to hear how Europe changed for you, how Europe was important, and as you say, a partner. And I think this is really interesting, and I'm really curious, when you start working for next work, or when you are making new works, what drives you and how do you start? I mean, because you do a lot of drawings on everything that you have and get and find and is next to you, but how do the ideas start and how do you evolve?
Well, I'm an artist, but I'm also a journalist. And, you know, when the changes in my country, when the revolution was, when the communist system collapsed, the dictatorship, I joined the free media, the free press. So it was a fantastic medium to express, because it was the first time they printed newspaper without censorship. And for me, it was there, not in the galleries, where I developed my style and my thinking. So now I'm like a journalist, like a commentator. So I'm interested in everything what's going on in the world, politics and social and ideas and everything. So I'm doing this on a regular basis every day, with exhibition or without, right? And I like printed newspaper, you know. And I like this stuff. I really think it's like, in my head, it was like 16-page gallery, you know. And with this newspaper, can you imagine? So when I was like 30 years ago, I started to illustrate, to publish drawing in this kind of independent weekly magazine. And this went into 300,000 homes. Can you imagine? Like an artist, to have 300,000 people, you know, public. Now we are now down to 5,000. 30 years later, the printed intellectual newspaper nobody cares so much. Anyways, but I established a kind of relation with a certain public, right? So this is what I do now as an artist. I'm like commentating events across the globe. And, you know, by the way, thank you very much for inviting me. You know, my reaction first, because first was supposed to be Moscow, the show, right? And I said, Putin, I don't go there, right? So I said, I give you the newspaper, you do whatever you want. But the idea I like, because when I was in a dictatorship and we felt so isolated, so every exhibition who came to us from Yugoslavia, which was almost West, and from the West meant a lot, you know? So in my head, this idea that, well, you don't abandon these guys there, you know, you go there, you have a contact, you discuss, there's a lot of interesting artists in Moscow and St. Petersburg, whatever. And then you bring all these guys together. I like the term diversity, and I like the term united, right? Both of them are questionable, but interesting. So what I can bring to the exhibition and to your subject is this. I'm constantly looking at these topics, and I look at them from this, it's a double point of view. It's my East heritage, my failed left utopia, right? Because I was there and it fell. It you know, and now it's like this kind of the new utopia, which is like, you know, the sunshine capitalism, and, you know, so I can have a double critical or even nostalgic, whatever view. So I think it's more profound. By the way, because you mentioned this. I was born in the 61, exactly the year the Berlin Wall was erected. So I was born in a divided Europe, right?
Yeah.
And I was on the side with no graffiti of the Berlin Wall, right? This is not a metaphor. This is a fact. So metaphorically, I'm still drawing that empty part of the Berlin Wall with what I do now. Yeah. So I'm bringing this experience I have, which is both interesting and catastrophic from a communist kind of, and with this skepticism and criticism, which I look at this transitional mode from a dictatorship to a democracy, from communist to capitalist. And because the exhibition was supposed to be in Moscow, so I kind of know stuff about Moscow and Russia and Soviet Union because somehow I was there, right? And I like it very much to unite I like this idea, right?
You did. I want to ask a little bit about pressing. Pressing is the title of how many newspapers that you did for the show?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
And for everybody who doesn't know the work of Dan Perjovschi, and he did a new piece for Diversity United, which will start in spring in Berlin, and it will be an installation with many comments on newspaper articles over the last year, I think. And I think what I really like about the piece is that we really have what is the first date when you started for the exhibition, and I think you have everything in it. You have even the first start of the pandemic in your work. So it's a really piece about our current situations all over Europe, right?
Yeah, well, I start to collect. I'm collecting newspaper, printed newspaper wherever I go. So I collect on various topics, immigration, whatever the major discussion we have here in Europe, equality, gender, whatever. Populism now a lot, and I stuck them in chapters. So when you invited me, I said, well, Moscow, maybe. Maybe I cannot draw about Putin, but I can draw about subjects around. And so I just took from this kind of saved or pages of my drawings are all coming from a narrative, from a newspaper, from a blog, from a website. So this time I'm drawing on the source of my drawing. So I read that paper and I make a drawing on top of it, and I collect. And of course, it's the history of this year because this is major impact, right? And I squeeze in all this maybe, populism and this kind of autocrats and this kind of big men running the world, right? There's some hints about democracy, about all this kind of stuff, but it's not. You saw, it's not one single subject there. Yeah. It's like a puzzle. Yeah. You can put it however you want, and then these pages are connecting in a different way. And I told you that I'm preparing to send you a little bit more, updating the virus part now. Yeah, I got some newspaper from Italy. I got some newspaper from other parts. I'm asking people around on the planet to save me some stuff, and then I work with them. So this is the piece. It's like a puzzle with topics about our life, basically. So kind of reflection on our life. So you have a layer of text, you have a layer of photography from the newspaper, and then you have my drawing layer. And sometimes it's just text. No, it's just text, just a word, or
I had a look, and I'm very curious to see it all together in a big piece in the show. And maybe a little final question. So, what do you think where you got your humor from? Is it from your country? Is it family? Is it because everybody who knows your work, it's also you always have a smile. It always leaves a smile on our faces.
Well, I think I came with Mother Nature gave me some. Then my country kind of squeezed me to have more, because when you're tough times, humor is one recipe, one pill you can resist. And then it became for me like a human nature, in the sense I look at things and try to squeeze a little bit of, not fun, but smile. And then sometimes you laugh, but sometimes it's beyond that laugh is something very tough. So we have this expression in Romanian, laughing, crying. So you're in the same time, you know, on the verge of bursting in tears, but also you're laughing a little bit. So I try to make this, you know, humor give me a little distance. Because otherwise, what's going on with us now, Europe, planet, virus, is pretty tough.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to have some kind of engine, some kind of something to, and I found this in humor. And you see, my drawings, they are disguised in cartoons, but they are not quite cartoons. They are just disguised in cartoons. And it's black and white, and it's more like a kind of manifesto, you know, kind of more like writing on the wall, kind of more like kind of this. And humor brings them into the comics platform, and theoretically, this allows them more freedom. People are more afraid of photography, and basically they allow you as a caricaturist, which I'm not, to say more tough story. Well, this was valid until Charlie Hebdo. Now it's questionable also this. But I always in my head thought that I have more freedom to push a little further, you know, because this is a kind of line people think is like childish or whatever. They didn't take it seriously at the beginning.
Then you looked.
But then if they look second, the second look is very important.
Yeah. I think then we're really happy. We did every talk like 20 minutes. So I'm really, really thankful that you joined us for this live interview. And we are really looking forward to see the work coming up in the show Diversity United, which starts in Berlin in spring and continues then to Moscow and to Paris. And thank you very much. And everybody who wants to see more of Dan's work, just check him out on his website or on his Instagram, and come and have a look at the show when it's.
Yeah. Thank you very much also to bring me from the 60s to Instagram.
Really happy with out, and thank you, and have a very good time, and all the best to you.
All the best. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye, bye.